Micah Frankel for CageMinds.com. Got a great guest joining us today. Goes by the Fallen Angel, Dominique Robinson. Pancrase 270 coming up, taking on Eiji Ishikawa. Thank you for the time, sir. How are you doing?
Doing all right, tired, but on the grind right now, driving from Vegas to LA, get ready for Inside MMA tonight. So, you know what I mean? Doing this off of no hours of sleep and business last night and yesterday. So, you know, you gotta hustle to make that money and get your name out there.
Inside MMA tonight. Are you going to be a guest on the show?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited about that, too. I'm always excited to see my mentor, Bas Rutten. So,
I was going to say, that leads us into some great questions. Your mentor, Bas Rutten, and you're going to follow in his footsteps, going out to Pacncrase. How much did that make just the offer that much more exciting?
Yeah, it makes it really exciting, especially seeing as Bas worked in conjunction with my manager, Tree Viegas, at Samsara Management, you know what I mean, to get this deal done for me, and along with a lot of other business opportunities that are going to be forthcoming and sponsorship. So, you know, not a lot of people know her in the business, but she gets a lot done. I get good sponsors, I get paid good, you know, and Bas basically doubled all of that for me, you know, working in conjunction with her this time. So I'm happy. You know, that's my mentor. I trained with him when I was first in the game at a couple of his seminars. I first met him, and he was a good guy, real great guy. And now, even as busy as he is on Access TV and commentating and doing things for World Series and finding everything else, he still takes the time to send me things I need to do in training and strength tips and cardio tips and fight tips. Everything else, you know, working with my manager, and it's a real honor because he was always my favorite fighter. And then as I got to, you know, when I met him, I was like, this guy's a pretty cool guy. And then you come full circle and he mentors me, and now I respect him even more as a person, which holds more value to me than as a fighter. And as far as following in his footsteps, the furthest that's going to go is into Pacncrase, and then after that, I tend to make my own path because I can never recreate what Bas did. He created his own legacy and his own greatness, you know, and I would always like him to have that because then I can have something to always look up to and aspire to create my own, you know, my own legacy. So one day, hopefully, it's some kid looking up to me that I can help out like he's helped me out. So it's an exciting prospect.
So you met one of your idols, and he became your mentor. So what was that first interaction like?
The first interaction, it was pretty funny. I went to a seminar of his in the Bay Area like a million years ago because I've been in this game since 2003. And I met him, and he didn't even know that he was like the dude to me or anything like that. And it was just weird. We talked a lot in the seminar, and I'm not even sure if he remembers way back then. But we were talking in the seminar, and then he kept, for some reason, gravitating to me and showing every single move on me. And I'm like, and Bas it's funny, he has no middle gear. It's like, just go. So he's doing all these moves on me, and I'm getting fucked up. And I just think it's the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, yeah, you know, he's doing all these moves on me and everything. And then after the seminar, we talked for a long time. He just started talking to me for a long time and offered me all this extra help off to the side. And he ended up giving me a shirt. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And it was just cool. And I was like, I got to go to another one of his seminars. And I ended up going to like 2 more. And then, you know, years later, the power of social media blew up. And I got back in contact with him, and we just started speaking again. And it just progressed from there. You know, along with, you know, Pat Miller's touch too, who's another great in the business, another legend of his own, and he also helps me with a lot of things on the side. It's just, I've been real blessed to have 2 people like that, you know, guiding me. And then it's cool because we're all Pisces. Yeah, that signed up at the same time, and we just, you know, and another boy of mine, Bill's and all Bill, and we were like, hey, let's start this journey together, aka, you know, this is the spot, and this is before Cormier and Kane and everything. We were like second generation AK. You know, we were right there after Paul Bonatello, Mike Kyle, Josh Thompson, Mike Swick, Eugene Jackson used to be there. We were like the next group before all this stuff going on now. And people don't know that. And nobody really taught us up there. It was just like you just learned from, you know, and Fitch ended up there, and it was just like spar. So we pretty much learned how to get tough. And I started investing in DVDs and practicing with my friends all the time, you know, and practicing on my now manager, which is True Viegas, because I've known her before she was ever my manager, and that's how we learned, you know, basically through fire of getting our asses kicked and through DVDs, and then eventually we weren't getting our asses kicked in there anymore, and it just naturally progressed, and then we ended up leaving, and everybody ended up doing their own thing, and I just continued investing in DVDs and going around the Bay Area. I've known Uriah Faber a long time, so he would let me go up to his gym and spar. You know, I would go spar with my homies, Nick and Jake Schultz, you know. I would just get in my and just watching fights, so, and managing myself and promoting myself and everything, and it was real rough, man, doing all that, you know, but now, finally, after all these years, the only person who ever put any, like, time into me, you know, with probably all those years was Andy Song of that AKA, and then Val Ignatoff. But between the two of them, that's probably only 1 year worth of training of like the 11 years I've been in this up until recently. You know, I was blessed enough to come out to Vegas and be a part of Mayweather's gym full time. So, you know, this is the first time this last year where I full-on trainer Otis Pimpleton Jr., you know, who's trained by Roger Mayweather, is James Toney's brother, and I also get side work with Dewey Cooper. So, you know, it's been real good. And Eddie Bravo's about to open a gym in Las Vegas, the 10th Planet, you know, with Casey Halstead. So they asked me to be a part of that group. So things are starting to finally come together in a trainer aspect. So nobody's even seen close to my full potential yet, you know, because I've been pretty much doing it on my own, and now I ask people to draw it out. So I'm looking forward to showing people what I got this next fight.
So coming into this fight, coming off of the decision win over Joe Stevens, a huge win. It's put as a split decision, but from what I heard, that was just an oddity by the judges. So how do you categorize the momentum heading over to Japan?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, that fight was weird. You know, Joe Stevenson, it was a weird thing because I've always liked Joe Daddy and always respected him, and I met him when I was younger too, and it was cool. And then somebody lied to him, saying that I said something about him, and then he goes off about me and me as a father and a person and stuff, and it just turned personal. And, you know, I had to go in there and whoop that ass, but that is one of the toughest guys ever. And no, it was, you know, my boy Tim Means in the UFC was a commentator. He'll tell you that fight was a sweep. He won the first round by holding me down against the cage the whole round. I took 0 damage that round. He just held me down, and the rest of that fight, it was a sweep, man. I dropped that guy probably like 4 or 5 times, and when I put people down, they don't get up like that. That guy, he's a true veteran. He's a true guy in this game, and people think that I beat him when he was on this bad streak. But, you know, him and I spoke in the locker room afterwards. Those people that were beating him in the UFC in competitive decisions, they were beating him when he was going through personal problems in his life, and he wasn't training at all. You know, he just partying, not giving a damn, and, you know, a lot of substance abuse. And he told me I was the first person he trained for since the BJ Penn fight. So I'm the first person since that BJ Penn fight that fought the real Joe Daddy. And, you know, if those guys that he fought, he was that competitive with him, not training. If he would have trained, he would have beat him. You know, see that. And, you know, I know the guy I'm fighting in Japan is not going to be that kind of fight. He's not going to be able to take those kind of shots. So I'm expecting this to be easy work, while at the same time I'm still going to be aware of what this guy brings to the table and make sure I don't slip up and make any mistakes and lose this fight and this opportunity being presented to me.
Heading over there, an opponent in Ishikawa who has 50 pro fights. What is the most dangerous aspect of his game that he's bringing into that ring against you?
Me watching him, he has a way of draining the clock. That seems to be the and surviving. He's fought a lot of people. Rio Chonen, Yuki Kondo 3 times. He's fought Hector Lombard. He's fought Taichung Matsui. You know, he's fought Ryan Takeshi. He's fought a lot of people, and he's beat a lot of these people too. And he just has a way of draining that clock down. Like, you might think, okay, I'm tagging him up, maybe I'm winning, but you don't realize this guy's been grabbing on you 4 of the 5 minutes while you beat him up 1 of the 5 minutes. And next thing you know, time's over and you got the decision win. And I can't let that happen, because I know it's only been one person my whole career that stood up with me, and that was in Russia. You know, it's never happened anywhere else in this world, and I don't expect it to happen here. You know, and this guy's not going to try to stand up with me, so I have to expect him to try to do the same thing to me, and that's his strength that I have to be able to overcome. So that's what I've been working on in camp with my boxing coach and with James Chaney. We've been drilling a lot, so I think I'm ready for it.
We know about your talking out there in social media. A lot of calling guys out. You feel you should be in the big show. Where does this win put you in that goal?
Yeah, I met up with Zuffa Brass recently. We clearing up a few issues that we have, because I don't, it's out there in the media now, and I was supposed to be on the Ultimate Fighter, the Conor McGregor, Uriah Faber season. That's the one I was the top pick for there, all the producers' favorite person, training for the fight. 2 weeks before the fight, some social media controversy happened. You know, it's a lot of eyes on the UFC right now, so some things happened that, that needed to get cleared up with some people pretending to me, so that, before, and it couldn't be done within the 2 weeks, a week and a half of that fight. So that's why I ended up not being on the show. But they Dana White, Joe Silver, Sean Shelby, these guys, they took the time to meet up with me, tell me what they're going to do to help me clear this up, and tell me to go get this win. So, me and my manager, I expect to be talking to them after this fight.
So, as a consolation prize, how did getting to fight for Pacncrase and everything, how does this fall in then?
How does the UFC talk fall in?
Well, no, get it, instead of having tough, getting this consolation prize, you're still going to stay active, you're going to Japan, you're fighting in Pacncrase. How does this work out then for a consolation prize?
It actually, it's weird, because my manager is big on, like, everything happens for a reason, and after that Ultimate Fighter thing, because I was at the tryouts. I saw everybody, and I'm a student of this game. People think that they go into the wrong coaches, like Greg Jackson and, all these other guys. They go into the wrong dudes. There's nobody that knows how to break down this sport and these fighters and know more about all the fighters everywhere, big and small, than me. That's proven, and I knew everybody in those tryouts. And I was like, most of this is easy work. And then I saw the guys that are going to be on the show, and I know them, and I'm like, these guys fight at 35. I don't care how good you are. You're a bantamweight. You aren't beating me. I'm one of the biggest lightweights out there. Everybody knows that. Just size alone, you aren't beating me. And I was like, this is going to be easy work. There's very few threats here. And then when I watched the season play out, some people are like, hey, those were good fights. I didn't view a lot of those as good fights. They had one guy, that I saw on the show that I actually got into an altercation with, that was being disrespectful to every competitor there, and a good friend of mine, like a brother of mine, Joey Varner, who works for the UFC, talking shit to Joey Varner, talking shit, saying at everybody, and everybody has MMA striking, and he's going to knock out every single person. Then I watch this fight on the show, to get in the house, and he goes to a competitive decision. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, man. I would have took his goddamn head clean off. It's just, and then I'm watching these little 35ers fight and everything, and I was already hearing about what was going on in the season, so before it even played out. And it was everybody saying, man, I wish you were there, I wish you were there. And yeah, because they would have got to see some real work being done. But it is what it is, I guess my manager right everything out for a reason. I go win this Pacncrase belt, add it to my Golden Boy Sugar Shane Mosley title, and then going to the UFC, and start calling out names like the rapper Corrupt and getting work done.
So is that the goal for Pancrase? This is a number one contenders fight, I believe. The title is the goal in that promotion.
Yeah, I will. Of course, if UFC just, after these talks, they're like, come on in. I have to go on in. You know what I mean? I have to go on in. I'm actually thinking about it. It might sound crazy, but if they say, come on over, I might ask them, let me do one more fight in Pancrase, because that belt really means something to me, like everybody's end-all goal is UFC, the UFC belt, being the best in the world. My goal isn't being the best in the world, but my goal is being the best I can possibly be and achieving the things I need to achieve, to start businesses and after this and get into different fields of, commentary analyst work after this to provide for my family and maintain things and do things for people. But that Pancrase belt, when I very first started this, and I was up there at AK with Frank Shamrock, who's the king of Pancrase, and I idolized Bas Rutten, and I saw this guy with these belts, and I was like, that's the belt I want. It wasn't, back then it was pride. It wasn't all about UFC. So my thing was, I want this Pancrase belt, and then after that, maybe go get that pride belt. So the Pancrase belt, it actually has more symbolic meaning to me than the UFC belt. The UFC belt just symbolizes who people think are the best in the world. Because I tell you like this, I know people nobody's ever heard of that are better than like the top 10 in the UFC. So I don't care. That belt is just good for financial purposes, but this Pancrase belt, it really means something. So that's a strong goal of mine right now.
Those are strong words right there. I love hearing that inspiration. So for you right now, because of the financial aspect, is it really the UFC is a goal? Could there be like a Bellator chance in your future?
Scott Coker seems to be doing good things over there. Jack Thompson said he got a contract monetarily better than his one in the UFC and all this. And it seems to be real good, but at the same time, it's still, everything seems good at the beginning. Scott Coker has been over there, a year and a half, something not even long. So we don't know if how far he's going to take this. How much money is Viacom going to say, hey, Scott, here's your budget to do what you want, and what's going to happen. It still needs to be watched. And then I've been hearing a lot of rumors coming from Japan about a big show coming over there, that I can't talk too much about, but that might be an interesting prospect too. So as far as Bellator goes, I'm curious about it, but I would pick UFC over Bellator right now, because I want to be a part. I want to see what that Zuffa life is like. I'm curious about that, see how I hold up to those guys. I talk. I want to see how far I can walk the walk, so to speak. Challenging yourself is what life is about, and growth. So that seems like the perfect place to do it.
It's a big fight. You're heading all the way to Japan. When do you end up leaving? Because we're 2 weeks out from the fight. How much time are you going to have over there to acclimate to the surroundings before fight time?
Yeah, I'm leaving September 30th. It's a little bit later than my management wanted. We talked about a few days earlier, but some things got mixed up with the tickets. So I'm getting, 5 days? I wanted 7. So if I fight over there again, we're going to have to work that out. 30 hours notice, and had to get my medicals done to fight UFC vet Steve Lopez before. So, you know, I come from a family, you know, Creole people and Filipinos. We said we're gonna do something, we get it done no matter what, you know. So the same thing is gonna happen here.
Tonight, catch him on Access TV. Follow him everywhere. Tell the fans how to follow you, Dominique.
Yeah, and I can thank my sponsors too, right, man?
Oh, yeah, no, go for that, all that.
Yeah. At Fallen Angel 510 on Twitter and Instagram. My manager, because I know some people out there dissatisfied with their management, Tree Viegas, is at Goon Squad _ HBIC. You know, and I want to thank my sponsors. I'm getting a lot of good people on board. My boy Palmer Electric, Unbreakable Mouthpieces, Average Bros, Garden of Life, Phase One Sports, Valley Spine and Health, and Rejuvenize. You know, amongst others you can see on my website, you know, but those people take care of me and I'm getting more on board. And then my boy James Chaney from Tough 16, he's coming back. So, you know, he's probably fighting in Australia. It's looking like in November. We got news on that soon. My boy Clint Cornell of Mayweather Boxing Club, he's fighting on Roy Jones' card, you know, the middle of the month of October. You know, my son, my mom, and everybody, my nutritionist, Krista Galasso, my friend Kim, Director Patrick Spielberg, Ice and Hetty, those are all my people. And, of course, Fashion and Pat Militant. I got to give shots out like I'm in the hood right now. And you know what? And Mike Chavallo, you know, good friend of mine. I got to mention that. But Mike Chavallo helped me acquire a big deal, a good deal that's coming out, you know. Him and my manager and everybody, we got a good deal that's coming out. But it's a new network that's getting started. And right now we just finalized, I'm going to have my own program on this network. So that's going to be a real big deal. And I can finally, you know, all these people I just mentioned you, how I know they have good people out there better than the people that I know. I'm able to give these people opportunities to be seen because it's going to be, this is a new sports network and I'm going to have my own show on there where we're full creative rights. So I want to put that out there now and thank Mike for putting me into contact with certain people and my management.
Big things happen in the entertainment, big things fighting. First going to go conquer Pacncrase, and then we'll see him in the UFC. Dominique Robinson, thank you for the time, sir.
All right, thank you.